Effective mathematics instruction. Explicitly attend to concepts and have students struggle with important mathematics. Isn't the point of being explicit to help students avoid frustrating struggle? Again, with the same old discrimination we've been fighting for years. Create some artificial struggle to exclude kids who otherwise are totally capable of learning math. These math ed folks, they just don't get it.
Explicit instruction is the most effective instructional approach for students at risk of mathematical difficulties. Discovery-based lessons lead to anxiety, which gets in the way of learning for students with disabilities. Oh my, I thought we were past this kind of discrimination. We have low expectations for whole groups of students, so then we exclude them from the very kind of struggle they need in order to learn. These special ed folks, they just don't get it.
These two educators are both so passionate about equity and access, but they see each other as the enemy. What's going on?
In 1978, Richard Skemp wrote about faux amis, a French term that means a word in two different languages that sounds the same, but actually means something very different. For these two scholars, struggle is a faux ami, one that confuses and acts as a powerful trigger. For me, as a mathematics educator, struggle is an essential ingredient of deep learning. If we want kids to learn conceptual understanding, they need to struggle to make sense of important mathematics. A central social justice issue in math is that this struggle is all too often denied to many students, especially poor students and students of color. As soon as I hear people say, this group of kids needs extra supports, I hear discrimination. It pushes my buttons.
For me, as a special educator, struggle reminds me of all the barriers that students have had to face that were completely unconnected to the things they were supposed to be learning. Like saying kids couldn't learn to swim if they used a wheelchair. Whenever I argue for accommodations to eliminate unnecessary struggle, I am accused of dumbing down the curriculum or babying students. When I hear that struggle is essential, I hear discrimination. It pushes my buttons. So we think we need to spend more time together, learning from each other and listening to each other.
As math educators, I think we need to listen to special education teachers. This doesn't mean that I give up my understanding of mathematics, nor do I give up my belief in the importance of struggle. But I do think I have much to learn.
Like many special educators, I can be defensive and protective of students when collaborating with math educators. I need to listen to math educators and find out what they know about what math is and how students learn it. This does not mean that I forget about fighting for students. It does mean that I can learn more about math educators' goals, beliefs, and knowledge.
Finally, we both need to fight the temptation to respond to simplified versions of math ed or special ed colleagues. This does not mean that we're never critical. The challenge is to do this while continuing to be on the lookout for unconscious biases and systemic injustices.
Talk about struggle.